Well, hello there. It's Miss Teri with the Carnegie Library, and welcome to another edition of Flannel Fridays. Dun, dun, dun. Our time when we take our fairy tales and we turn them into our own little take on fairy tales. This week we will be doing Little Red Riding Hood. Yay! I always like to do Little Red Riding Hood. And this will be my take on Little Red Riding Hood. So, without further ado, dun 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 dun, Little Red Riding Hood, starring the dame herself, Little Red. Except for Little Red Riding Hood didn't like to be called Little Red because she was her own woman, her own girl, and she liked to do things her own way, and she was very headstrong and stubborn, so she liked to be called Scarlet, and she liked to do things her own way. She didn't let anybody tell her what to do. She was walking through town one day and she saw the huntsman. There he is, the huntsman. And his name was Harold. Harold the huntsman. And he was chopping down this tree, which looks really tiny, but it was really big. It's just really far away. Anyway, he was chopping down this tree, and for some reason his beard was red and his hair was brown. We don't know why. It just came in that way. Anyway, she was walking along. La 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 la. My name's Scarlet and I am... Oh no, I am bald. Let me put my hair back on. Oh no. There we go. My hair's back. Whoopsie. Anyway, la la la. Ignore the kitty. La 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 la. Well, hello, Harold. How are you today? I am fine, Scarlet. How are you today? I am good. Did you hear about your grandmother? What about my grandmother who likes to be called G-Ma because she's cool? Your grandmother has taken sick. You need to go see her and bring her some muffins and some fruit from your store. Really? Are you sure? Because G-Ma never gets sick. Yes, I am sure. I heard in town that she was sick. All right, I guess I better go get her. I'll go home first and get my Red Riding Hood, and I'll get my muffins and my fruit and something to drink, and I'll go see my grandma and make her feel better. Go away, cat. So she went all the way home, and she owned a store, and it was called Sweet Treats and Muffins. And she put on her Red Riding Hood. You have to be careful that her hair doesn't fall off again because that was embarrassing. I mean, seriously. She should put it on better, don't you think? All right. Got her hair back on. Her feet were hurting, so she took her shoes off for a second. She's a mess. A mess, I tell you. All right, she has her shoes back on, and she's on her way. Oh, gosh, her hair came off again. She needs to get something to keep her hair on. She sees Harold again, the huntsman, and he says, "Are you on your way to your grandmother's?" "Why, yes, I am." And he says, "Oh, I forgot to tell you. Watch out for that wolf. He's a mean, mean wolf and he'll eat you. Uh-oh. I think that wolf's going to try to eat her. We got to be careful. We got to warn her when we see the wolf. All right? So she skips along and she skips along. La, 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 la. I'm going to see my G-Ma. I'm going to see her. I'm going to make her better. Oh, I forgot my basket. Here's my basket. I'm going to go see her. She's going to feel better because my G-Ma, she loves me. And my muffins make her feel better. So Grandma's here at home. And she's not feeling very good. She's coughing. Achoo, achoo. And she hears a knock at the door. Oh no, the wolf. I see the wolf. We gotta warn Grandma. Grandma, G-Ma, G-Ma, the wolf is coming. The wolf is coming. I don't think she hears us. Anyway, Scarlett's not there yet. He knocks on the door. Knock, knock, knock. And Grandma, she thinks it's Scarlett because she already heard from the grapevine in town, from the gossip mill, that Scarlett's coming into town or coming to visit her with muffins and sweets and something to drink. So she doesn't even look out the door to see who it is. And we don't do that. We have to look and see who it is before we open the door. And she opens the door and she finds out it's the wolf. Dun, dun, dun. The wolf. His name is Wiley. Wiley Wolf. Oh, he's terrible. Terrible. And he comes in, he's like, I'm going to eat you, G-Ma, because you look very tasty. Very tasty indeed. And G-Ma's like, no, you're not going to eat me because I'm one tough bird and I'm going to run around this house and let you chase me until Scarlett gets here and you're just not going to eat me. And he's like, oh yeah, I am. I'm going to eat you. But about that time, Scarlett comes and she knocks on the door. Knock, knock, knock. And the wolf, Wiley, Wiley, he's like, lady, you better get in that closet right now or I'm going to just eat you and then I'm going to eat your granddaughter, Scarlett. And she's like, oh, don't hurt my granddaughter, please. I'll get into the closet. So she disappears and gets into the closet way down here. And he gets into bed and he takes G-Ma's hat and her blanket and he pretends to be Grandma or G-Ma. But we're having problems with things on heads today, aren't we? Let's put that back on here. The hat. Scarlett doesn't hear anything, so she knocks again. And the wolf says, come in, dear. And Little Red comes in. She kicks off her shoes. She brings her basket in. Why, Grandma, you look really sick. You don't even look like you usually do. Like, you look really different, really sick. And Wiley the wolf goes, yeah, I've been sick lately. Little Red, or Scarlett, as she likes to be called, is like, well, I brought you some fruit, and I brought you some muffins, and I brought you something to drink, So it's going to make you all better, Grandma. And he's like, oh, that's wonderful. Why don't you come closer, Scarlet? Come closer so I can see you. So Scarlet gets closer. She gets closer. And she's like, why, G-Ma, what big eyes you have. And G-Ma says, why, better to see you with, Scarlet. And Scarlet says, why, G-Ma, what pointy ears you have. It's almost like you're, I don't know, like a wolf or something. They're all hairy and ew. Is that part of your illness? And the wolf says, yeah, the hair is, my ears are bigger because it's better to hear you with, my dear. And Scarlet says, G-Ma, what big teeth you have. And the wolf says, better to eat you with, my dear. And he starts running after her. And she loses her Red Riding Hood. And she loses her basket because she throws it at Wily Wolf. Bam! And it hits him right in the face. But it doesn't stop him. He's still running. He just now has a hurt nose. So he's running, and they're running around the bed. And he's running after her. And about that time, what do you think happens? You think he catches her? No. You think she catches him? No, she is pretty strong, woman on her own, independent. But no, she doesn't catch him. What happens next is Harold. Harold comes on the scene. And he breaks down the door. And in the process, he loses his beard. And he tries to lose his hair. And he kicks his boots at the wolf. Bam! And hits him. And he kicks his other boot. Bam! And he hits him. But the wolf, he doesn't care because he wants to eat Scarlet. He thinks Scarlet will be so sweet and tasty. And he has his axe and he's fixing to hit him with the axe. And Scarlet's like, stop! Stop! And everybody freezes. And Scarlet says, Harold, I can take care of myself. You don't have to come to my rescue. Then she pops Wily right in the nose. Pop! And says, bad dog, bad wolfie. And you know what happens? He goes, "Aw, what'd you do that for?" And she's like, "Because you were going to eat me." And Wily said, "But I'm so hungry." And Scarlet said, "But I threw a basket of food at you. You could have eaten that. But no, you had to chase after me. So now, what happened? I had to pop you on the nose just like I do the dogs at home whenever they're bad." And Wily said, "But that hurt." And she's like, "Well, you need to behave." And he's like, "Well, okay. Do you still have some of that food in the basket?" And Scarlet said, "Why, yes, I do. Do you want to be friends?" And Wily said, "Why, sure. Can we maybe share the food?" And Scarlet says, "Why, sure. We sure can." So they sit down and they take the blanket and they invite Harold, the huntsman, and they have a nice picnic and they share the food, and it's a nice afternoon that they spent together as friends. And they stayed friends forever and ever. And that is my take on Little Red Riding Hood. The end. Thank you for joining me, even though we had hair problems and beard problems and shoe problems. But it was all good, and it made the story even funnier, right? So, thank you for joining me for Flannel Friday. I will see you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.